Hello, friends. My name is Oscar, and I am one of the elders here in Iglesia Reforma in Guatemala City, Central America. And I would like to share with you a little bit of my personal journey experience and why we consider ourselves a missionary church, and a couple of important lessons that I think we've learned along the way. So since I was a child, I was involved in the church. My great grandparents and grandparents were pastors, so I always attended the church with my parents, and this kind of awakening me, especially in my adolescence, a desire to serve God and follow, the footsteps of my grandparents. However, I never had any training at all. Uh, I didn't know any doctrine or solid theology. So that did not help when I became involved in one of the largest churches and denominations here in Guatemala that, sadly preaches and affirms the prosperity gospel, where I had a very bad and traumatic experiences that almost cost my marriage. But thank the Lord, around 2009, I think it was, we found a healthy church, part of the Acts 29 network, that helped us understand the gospel. And this restored not only my marriage, but also my desire to serve Jesus and to teach uh, biblical gospel, and it was from this church that we left with a blessing to plant Iglesia Reforma about 8 years ago. And in Iglesia Reforma, all of our efforts are focused on God's mission. Example of this is that at the end of the year, we have always share and open our books or accounting books or budgets. And many of our new members were amazed at how our budgets or budget speaks to our priorities, in the sense of that they are focused not only on ourselves as a church, or facilities or air conditioning or better chairs or better sound, but it is focused on making disciples, orphan care, protection of the vulnerable, training and equipping other churches and government entities to be able to work hand to hand with us to make disciples of Jesus in the midst of broken context. And obviously, we also have our missional communities, or groups that meet in different houses around the city, which is, I think, the natural way to live God's mission, because obviously we share our lives as believers, we eat together, we grow together. That's how we say it. And together, we live the Christian life. We share our burdens, we share our joys. It's in this context that I think the most beautiful uh, way to hear and to see stories of the gospel impregnating our lives, and to for the church to obey God's command throughout the New Testament of one another, love one another, serve one another, etc., etc., etc. So these are things that we believe are the most important things for church, but also things that we've learned is that we have to be patient. Many times we would like to see results quickly. We are receiving a lot of people, we are growing fast, and we would love for these newcomers to understand our culture, and how we live our culture. um, so we have to be patient and understand our context in Guatemala, because it's extremely difficult. It's saturated with false gospel. 90% of the churches are, prosperity gospel churches. So we have to be patience in this process of people on learning and learning how to live God's mission. And something that has helped us a lot is being able to saturate everything that we do with the idea of God missions. From our philosophy of ministry, mission, vision, values, we say that we live our culture, or try to uh, teach our church to live a culture that is focused on God, outwards in worship, inside in community, and outside in mission. That's what we constantly repeat, you know, uh, from the applications in the sermons, from the pulpit, in our activities, also our liturgy, where at the end we call for the mission. We have a call for the mission, and by sending you, we tell the church that we have gathered together to worship God, and now that we are spread out to throughout Guatemala, to continue being missional. And so obviously everything, our methods, our liturgy, everything that we do, activities, and obviously especially our missional communities, are emphasizing always the mission of God. So I think those are things that we have learned, and that's my story, that's our story. And I hope this is a blessing for you, and God bless you.